Marriage Story is written and directed by Noah Baumbach, and this film follows Nicole and Charlie, a married couple who is trying to finalize a divorce. With this comes questions about where their son is going to live, how much of a settlement there will be, and all of the wonderful things that divorce has to offer. In 2017, writer and director Noah Baumbach released the Netflix original film, The Meyerowitz Stories. It's a movie with themes of family and division within that family. Themes of legacy and art and how that legacy can impact those around you. But what Noah Baumbach was able to accomplish with that film is offering one of the most shining examples of naturalistic dialogue that I have really ever seen. It was really incredible the way that he was able to put on display the levels of disillusionment that happens between family members as they get older, and the way that those family members communicate, and really the way that we all communicate just as people. And the stroke of genius that was the screenplay of that film is replicated with Marriage Story, a heartfelt film that chronicles the divorce process with such insight and compassion that results in flat out one of the best movies that I've seen this year. Similar to his work in the 2005 film, The Squid and the Whale, Noah Baumbach is able to capture family dynamics in response to a divorce incredibly well. From the opening scene of this film, it fills you with a sense of sadness and almost heartache, similar to what the lead characters feel as a result of this divorce and having this relationship reach this conclusion. The audience is immediately shown purely the highlights of this relationship, and then what follows is something more honest and more sincere. And just like his prior works, Baumbach is able to capture a candid look at two different sides of a marriage, one of which is represented by Adam Driver and the other Scarlett Johansson. And with Marriage Story, it becomes even more clear, as if it wasn't before, that the dialogue in these films is very multifaceted and very multi-layered, and he obviously has a very clear understanding of the characters and the story that he is trying to tell. With each of these characters, you can learn so much about both of them with what they're actually saying, and in a way that isn't overly expository or overly sentimental, but in a way that not only propels the story forward, but also serves to build layer upon layer to these characters and how they say what they're trying to say, and some other times how they don't say those things, which again is something that Noah Baumbach specifically is so good at. When you watch a film that is written by Aaron Sorkin or Quentin Tarantino, they are obviously very specifically choosing exactly what they want their characters to say in the exact way that they say it. They are very similar to Shakespeare in this way. But with Baumbach, it really is different. The way in which characters speak in these films, it feels messy, it feels imperfect, it doesn't feel quite as neat. There are unfinished thoughts, there are people talking over each other, there are multiple conversations going on within one conversation. And these are things that we all do as communicators, and this is something that I feel really no one else in Hollywood is capturing as well as Baumbach does in his films, Marriage Story included, which results in all of the characters in this film feeling incredibly rich and well thought out. And this is something that can only be accomplished with not only an incredible screenplay, but two actors who are at the top of their game, bringing that screenplay to life, which is what you have with this film with, again, Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, who both give career high and career defining performances in this film. Marriage Story is told slightly more from Driver's perspective, so he gets more of an opportunity to shine, but regardless, they are both absolutely phenomenal. And in Driver's case, he gives not only the best performance of his career, but by far, hands down, the best performance that I've seen in any movie this year. With every gesture that he makes, with every line that he says or doesn't say, it speaks volumes about his character. And with Marriage Story, there really are two movies that are happening almost simultaneously throughout this film. This is a concept that was captured perfectly with the two teaser trailers that released prior to this film's release. The two of these characters really are given equal opportunity to state their case and to state their their stake within this marriage. So for a large majority of this film, the movie does not really give you the opportunity to pick a side. And although I feel that it does eventually give you that opportunity, even in the person that is more often in the wrong, they're not really dragged through the mud. It is a pretty level between the two of them, but the film definitely does actually end up choosing a side, in my opinion. This is particularly highlighted in a perfect scene that this scene alone captures incredibly well one of the characters' arc throughout this entire film. Again, this is something that is captured masterfully in this film, and it doesn't feel overly sentimental or overly theatrical. Instead, Baumbach opts to tell this story in the most objective way possible, while simultaneously telling it in a way that feels poetic and genuine and poignant. And the themes that this film has within it, I feel, are further emphasized by the gorgeous score that was composed by Randy Newman, who I feel was chosen very specifically to emphasize some of the themes within this movie. I'll let you guys go see this film first so you can kind of ponder that idea while you're watching it. And I would say not only are Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson pitch perfect in this film, but the supporting cast of this movie, my God, are they good. Laura Dern specifically is a freaking rock star in this movie. She steals almost every single scene that she is in, and considering the caliber of some of the performances in this movie, that's not an easy feat. And with Marriage Story, if I had to say that I had any complaints with this film, it wouldn't be many, but I do have one thing that actually bugged me a little bit about this movie. This film chooses incredibly well to decide when it is going to tell us information versus when it is going to show us information. But there is one scene towards the end of this film that kind of felt like they were just telling the audience some stuff. And it felt like I had actually walked out and went to the bathroom for a little bit and came back, and I had actually missed a portion of the movie. And it did feel very jarring. Now, I understand that the divorce process is a very long and a very strenuous one. And in a movie that takes place over the course of about a year or so, you can't show every single moment of that process, because if you did, the film would be about 6 times longer than it actually is. However, I do feel like the information that is told to us regards some pretty critical things that I would have actually preferred to see them play out on screen. But with all things considered, if my biggest complaint with this movie is that I wish there was more movie, I think that just goes to show how much I absolutely adored this film. Noah Baumbach's Marriage Story is one of the most touching films that I have seen this year. The dialogue in this movie is masterfully written and is brought to life by 2 of the greatest performances that I have seen in 2019. If you saw Tamara Jenkins' 2018 film Private Life and you really enjoyed that movie, then I would strongly recommend that you seek out this film. This is another movie about marriage and the process of that marriage going through this rite of passage that is oh so prevalent in today's society. So did you guys see Marriage Story? What did you think about it? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you liked today's video. And if you did, you can click on the link down below where you can subscribe to my channel to see more movie reviews and movie related things. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.